So I was sitting up here today and I was looking at how I started my Christian faith. And I started in a church, young in a church. And then the older I got, I'm a second generation PK. And I seen the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. And I ran away from the church, as most people kind of do. They run away from the church and they just say like, "Nah, this ain't it. This ain't what I want to do. I'm good. I'm like deuces good. I did everything that I possibly could, clubbing, all this other stuff." And life, baby, it lifed. It life so hard that I mean, like, it landed me homeless in a shelter, a horrible marriage slash annulment, and I had to get to a point where I had to stop wanting to do things on my own will and just fully submit to God and fully submit to God's plan for my life, because I spent so many years trying to prove that I was this or that. You know, when you're an individual who grows up and you have a disability, um, you grow up trying to prove that you're just as good as everybody else. You grow up trying to prove that you could do everything that everybody else can do, and you're going to prove to them. And that grows into a very unhealthy mindset. And I'm not ashamed to say that I had it. Like, got a degree trying to prove a point. Went to a pretty good school trying to prove a point. Got a job trying to prove a point. Got in relationships trying to prove a point. And it just got to a point, prove, that I lost myself in the proof. So much that I didn't even recognize me. And I had to really, really repent, seriously repent, and ask God to forgive me, because I was looking for man's approval and trying to prove that I was, I wasn't a failure, or I wasn't a mess up, I wasn't a screw up, that I made the best life choices. And it landed me into nothing but pain, because then you end up starting to people please. And where does that leave you? In therapy and in pain. And I got to the point where I'm like, you know what, God, as long as you're happy with me, I'm okay. Don't nobody gotta, clap for me. Long as God clap for me, I'm good. As long as God is pleased with me, I'm good. As long as when I stand before God, He says, "Well done, kiddo. Good job. I'm good." And I have to accept that. And I pray that y'all do as well, because I know I can't be the only person in the world that have done things to try to prove to exes, parents, family members that you're not what they said you were. Or, you're trying to prove to your ex that you were the better choice. And when it all boils down, you end up hurting yourself in the long run. So my advice for Friday advice from Olivia is stop people pleasing, trust God, and only want His approval. Once you got heaven's approval, that's all that matter and count in the long run. That's it. Nobody else's approval matters as long as God stamps you and says, "Okay, you're good." Because man will fade. One minute they'll be saying, "Oh, you're doing a good job." The next minute they'll be saying, "Oh my gosh, why would you do that?" Just be criticizing everything that you do. You're never gonna please everybody, and you have to accept that. You're supposed to be pleasing God, and once you have pleased Him, that's what you rest in. Is pleasing God. All right, y'all. Be blessed. Walk in victory. Bye.